Mars Bluff, a quiet rural community in eastern Florence County, South Carolina, was jolted onto the Cold War headlines by an historic explosion, March 11, 1958. On that day, a B-47E bomber, manned by United States Air Force Captains Kohler, Woodruff, and Kulka, was ascending across the area on its way to England, carrying an atomic bomb. Suddenly, a bomb rack problem and the 7,600-pound TNT part of the weapon plunged down onto the farmscape below. The bomb detonated on impact, blew a 70 by 35-foot crater, destroyed the home of Walter Gregg, injured his family, damaged Mizpah Baptist Church, and cracked walls in a 5-mile radius. The atomic core stayed on the plane. No one was killed.
What started to be a normal day ended up pretty scary.
Well, it felt honestly like the house raised up off the foundation.
Doors had blown open, the locks were torn off.
I thought the airplane had failed.
It was kind of frightening.
We heard the loud noise, cans started falling off the shelves.
He was afraid to death because he didn't know the bomb falling that close here.
It made you realize that it could have been disastrous.
The term for this type of incident is broken arrow. During the tense years of the Cold War between the USSR and Western civilization, an accident happened on this site right here that is very unusual. B-47 was coming from Hunter Air Force Base, which is near Savannah, and going over on a combined practice run and an actual live bombing possibility against the USSR run. Well, anyway, as they came over from Georgia up across South Carolina, the pilot was pushing the mechanism, saying, put that pin back in there, the safety pin, that would keep the bomb drop pin from going. And, of course, the dial was saying, it's not in there, it's not in there. So he ordered the bombardier, who sits right in the nose of the B-47, which is not much bigger than a cubicle in an office, and he sits in there for 14 hours and he can't see out either, and he's the guy that reads all the instruments and actually sets the bomb off when it goes and all that. He asked him to go back and manually put that pin in there, see if he could do that. So they had to depressurize the plane, so they all had to put on oxygen. So he gets up and goes by this little narrow passage by the pilot and the co-pilot and goes back through the little compartment, and it's too small for him to wear his parachute and get through there. And so he has to take that off, and he's got the oxygen mask, and that's all he has with him. And he crawls back down through the plane, and by this time it's cold and depressurized, and he gets to the bomb, and here's this big bomb. You stand by like this on him, and he's trying to find the pin to see if he can put it back in place, and he can't find the pin. And he's jumping up and down looking, where's the pin? And then he realizes it's on the other side of the bomb. So well, that's where it is. I got to get up, and the bomb's round and smooth, basically, nothing to hold on to. And there's not a whole lot of room to jump or climb either inside this. So he apparently reached up and grabbed something to lift himself up like that, and that was the thing that set the deal loose. Set the, not the locking pin, but the regular bomb thing. He boom, pulled that out, and the bomb rolls out onto the bomb bay doors. Now, they're not strong. They're streamlined, but not for weight bearing. So here's this big bomb rolls down on these doors with him on top of it. Now, he's laying there on top of this big bomb, and the thing's creaking, getting ready to go. So he grabs hold of something, and just when he did, the bomb drops out. So he's hanging on to this thing. He's got 400-mile-an-hour wind whipping through here, cold, and he's hanging on for dear life. Then about that time, they go, wham! So he manages to pull himself back up in there and catch his breath, I suppose, settle down a little bit, and he works his way back up through the plane, through the fuselage of the plane. And, of course, they're maneuvering around to see what happened and what it looked like, take some reconnaissance photos of the big cloud of black smoke coming up. And he comes right up behind the co-pilot. Here's the pilot and the co-pilot. And he comes right up behind him and leans forward, because there's noise in here, we lost the bomb. And said it shocked the co-pilot. They thought he was gone, man. Wow! And anyway, they got him in there, closed it up, pressurized it, took some photos. The explosive trigger for the nuclear device fell right here and blasted this crater, which was at the time 70 feet, about 35 feet deep.